Hello, everybody. We're going to give it a few more seconds here to let more of you pile in here. We've got a big crowd today for today's iSeries on sales, which we're super excited about. I am Erin Shipps, Director of Marketing and Communications for the National Auctioneers Association, and I would like to thank you for joining us for today's iSeries about sales. Through iSeries, the NAA shares free auction industry insights. As the world's largest association dedicated to auction professionals, the NAA educates and represents the interests of thousands of auction professionals worldwide. So as I said, today's presentation is all about sales. And because I'm willing to bet that some of you never saw yourselves as salespeople. In an effort to bring new ideas to iSeries, we went outside the industry into the solar industry actually, to gain new perspectives on sales. I spoke with today's presenter, Ashton Buswell, about what obstacles auctioneers face in sales. And with that, he tailor-made today's presentation on an impeccable way to overcome objections and question-based selling. And I will admit I've known Ashton since we were very young, 7 or so. So as I said in one of my social media posts today, he is the real deal, and I'm so excited that he's doing this for us. Ashton has known he was going to be a salesman ever since he convinced a second grade classmate that they should trade him their gushers for his carrots. I don't think that was me, but we'll find out. He's been in sales ever since. He is currently VP of Sales Acceleration for Legacy Power, the largest privately held solar sales company in the country. He strives to live Legacy's mission statement every day, to provide an extraordinary customer experience while becoming the best version of ourselves and helping others do the same. Excuse me. He started his career selling satellite TV, then moved to alarm systems, and is currently selling solar systems. His biggest and best sale of his life was to convince his wife, Lydia, to marry him, which I can confirm she's lovely. And they are the proud parents of 4 beautiful girls. During his presentation, you may take part in the conversation by submitting questions in the Q&A box. We will get to as many questions as we can and talk about them after the presentation. Finally, we will also ask you to please take part in a very short poll. With that, welcome Ashton. Let's get this session rolling.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. I'm excited to be here. I love all the entrepreneur spirit with this organization, and I've enjoyed talking to Erin. I don't know about your organization. I don't know if Erin was the one that I convinced the gushers for, but pivotal moment, second grade, you know. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, Erin, and you can hear me okay, right?
Yep, good to go.
All right. Let me share my screen here. Oh darn, I must have closed out the wrong one. Sorry about that. Let me open up this again. Uh-oh, sorry. Okay, there we are. Okay, can you hear me still?
Can hear you, yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Sales guys aren't really technical, you know. And can you see my screen okay?
We did not, we lost the screen share.
Got it. All right, and that would, as a sales guy, we're not the most tech savvy, you know. We just go out and sell stuff. Okay, you can see my screen now?
Yep.
All right. So today what I wanted to cover is two big things. I thought that what could I share that would be most beneficial to you? I know you guys have a course, and I would recommend that you go to the course because it's tailored specifically for your industry, which is very, very helpful. Sales is the lifeblood of any organization, which you already know. If you haven't figured out, that's a really crucial and important part of your new role and your job. Everything that you look out when you go anywhere in the world was sold by someone somehow, right? The bricks that you walk on, the paint on the wall, everything was sold. So sales is crucial. And I thought that I would give you two things, particularly one that has been so amazingly effective. And I'll present the idea to you guys and then let you run with it, because it's going to be your niche is a special niche. And I'd like to ask for some help, some of your feedback and help on some concerns that or objections that you're getting but I thought I would share some of my best stuff of overcoming objections first and foremost, just give you my best stuff right out the gate. And then also talk about question-based selling, because that is really how I think effective sales is. So objections, overcoming objections. What I would ask of you guys real quick, if you would put in the chat some of your main objections, that would help me in my presentation to know exactly what you guys are facing. And I'll do my best, if technology will work with me, to understand the objections that you're facing. Objections to me really are an opportunity. I love objections. Objections are what get me sales more than not, because when an objection, sort of like a pendulum. So if this is even, if somebody gets an objection, they swing the concern over to the I'm not interested side of things, right? That same objection, as far as that goes over to the bad side, the negative side, once you resolve that concern, it doesn't go back to neutral. Now it's a strength. It's one of your most effective strengths, that once you get, if somebody says, oh, I don't think auctions online are going to work. Now they push themselves into a negative mindset around that. Once you've convinced them otherwise, they're going to think, oh, wait a minute. My auctioneer said that it works because X, Y, and Z, right? And they're going to be even stronger because you've overcome that objection. Okay. So I'm going to just quickly take notes here. We need to think about it. Totally. That is a very common one. I don't want to give my property away yet. Okay. That is also good. We can do it for less commission. Perfect. Don't want to sell at auctions because they think they'll get the price too low. Okay. Good. Not familiar with auctions. State sell companies do better. Good. These are all really good. So let me see if I can get my technology to work for me again. Okay. So agree and move on. I'm going to jump into this. The main thing I hope you can get from today, as far as the overcoming objections, is to agree with people and move on. Okay. When you agree with somebody, and again, this is you're in the selling world now. You need to agree with somebody on a topic. If somebody says, "Oh, I don't think that auction's going to work," "Oh, I don't think it's going to be good for my business because they aren't." They're too expensive, or they're going to give me a lower price than I want. I can sell it more at a higher price. When you agree with somebody about something, then move on to the next topic. You do two things with them. You become a part of their team when you agree with them. Okay. Best way to overcome the objection. Somebody says, "Oh, I think that they're going to cost, my price will be too low if I try to do it through an auction." Agree with that. Okay. This is not the normal sales training of like, well, I understand how you feel. Other people felt the same way, but this is what everybody else has actually found. And you can use that strategy. Feel, felt, found is a great way to overcome objections. But when you agree with somebody, it does two things for them. It puts you on their team. And like, you're like, I'm with you, man. I'm with you, dude. This is tough, right? I agree that this is a problem. So it puts you on their team, and it totally throws them off. Okay. It doesn't, they're not expecting you to agree with their objection at all. That's not even in their realm of like, this person would ever agree with me. And so it throws them off. I'll give you an example. Okay. If I'm at a BMW dealership and the sales, and I'm in there, and I get in the car and I say, "Oh yeah, man, I like this a little bit. I like this a little bit better at Mercedes." And the BMW guy says, "Yeah, you know what? You're right. The steering wheels are better at Mercedes." or you're right. Yeah, that actually is probably better at Mercedes. You as the consumer sitting in the in the driver's seat would look up at the guy and be like, dude, you're selling for the wrong company, right? They would totally throw you off if you were buying or if you were at the BMW dealership and the BMW sales rep said, yeah, Mercedes is better, right? But if the BMW guy said, yeah, no, you're right, I actually think that is better with Mercedes. I think their steering wheel frame, it is a little better. But what we also have is we have this component and this component and this component that they don't have, right? So what I've done is I've taken this objection that they're expecting me to fight them on, or that the BMW rep is expecting a fight, like, no, man, Mercedes is stupid. And you're agreeing with them, totally throws them off. You're on their same team. And now it appears as and it should, right? All sales is just helping people get to the best conclusion. Usually people tell you no, really just means not yet, right? And so it can be not yet. Anyway, if you're on their team, if you become a teammate with them by agreeing with their objection and moving on, then you're gonna win over a lot of people because they feel like you sincerely care about them, and you should in any kind of sales, and I'm sure you do, right? So that strategy has helped me like crazy. And again, some of your, I want to think about it. Yeah, no, I totally agree. A lot of people want to think about their purchases, right? Agree with that. Don't say, well, why would you want to think about it? You're only time's wasting. You're just losing money. And again, you can do that, but that's more of a fight, right? You just want to put your arm around them and say, yeah, no, I totally agree. Thinking about it is probably a smart thing to do. Let me tell you some other things. And here's some other ideas though. This is going on and this is going on and we have this coming up or whatever, right? You can talk to them about that. Less commission. I can go with somebody else that has a less commission. Yeah, no, I totally agree. You're right. You could totally go with somebody that's going to cost you less money than it's going to go with me. You kind of get what you pay for. And I know people say that, and maybe I actually wouldn't come with that because that kind of comes with a fight kind of thing. Like, just not talk about them, talk about you. You're totally right. You can get this for a less commission. And sometimes that's a good thing to do. If I'm buying a cell phone and it's the exact same cell phone and I'm gonna have the exact same experience, I'm gonna go with one that, the sales rep's making less money, so I get a better deal. That's what I want if I'm buying a cell phone. With our stuff, ours is a little more hands-on. I'm gonna do a lot more. What I'm gonna provide for you is do, right? X, Y, and Z, and start going into why you're better. Not necessarily a fight, but that you're better. Another one, not familiar with auctions or not familiar with how auctions work in general. I understand estate sales that they do better, but I'm not sure how auctions work. Agree with it. Again, agree. I totally agree. Most people aren't. And that's actually made a wonderful opportunity for you because we can right? And explain your service, why your service is better than other people's service. Okay. So agree and move on. It's been an incredible game changer for me when I'm talking with people about selling stuff to them. Okay. Another objection. Okay. Another way to overcome objections. It absolutely drives me bonkers when I have people say to me, oh, I'm not interested. And I say, okay, well, why not? And they say, well, I'm just not interested. And I'm like, well, why not? Tell me, why aren't you interested? And it drives me crazy, when they don't tell me why they're not interested. And I'll try to get it out of them 2 or 3 times, and they'll just say, I'm not interested, I'm not interested, I'm not interested. The way to get around that is to come back to them and say, and to give them an objection, okay? To find out the real objection, sometimes you give someone an objection and they'll either say, yes, that's actually, you're right, that's why I don't want to do it. Or they'll say, no, it's not that, it's because X, Y, and Z, right? A couple of the objections you guys gave, if somebody says, or if you're like, why don't you want to do it? Why can't we talk? Let's set up a time, it's going to be great. And then you say, is it because you think estate sales do a better job than auctions? That could be the objection, right? And they'll either say yes or no. If they say yes, that is, then you're like, oh, cool. Well, let me explain why we're better. If they say no, usually they're going to come back with their true objection. Usually they're going to come back and say, oh, okay, well, it's because I don't want to do that. It's just because I'm not familiar with how they work. Oh, well, that's fine. Let me explain how they work, right? Or whatever the objection may be. So overcoming objections is like a big part of the game. You're going to have very few where you walk in and it's just going to be an easy sale right out the gate. And so if you can overcome their objection by agreeing with them, getting on their same team, and then moving on, that's the most powerful. And then number two, every once in a while, you'll need to come back and give them an objection. Okay, so that's overcoming objections. We'll get to some questions and answers here at the end. Happy to do that as well when we get to the end here. Next one that I just wanted to talk about was question-based selling. So question-based selling is really for customers that, or for anybody, if you want to get into understanding why a customer is doing what they're doing or not doing what they're doing, they'll tell you just about every time if you listen. If you listen to what they're asking you to do, or if you listen to what they're saying, they'll tell you what it is that they're trying to get. Oops, sorry. In our company, we have 6 leadership principles, and one of them is truly listen. And they all have a hand signal that it's associated with the sales principle or the leadership principle. This one, the hand signal is this. Okay, so truly listen is this, and it tells a lot when you say truly listen and then you do this hand signal. To me, what it mainly says is that you're one of the most important things you can do is listen with your eyes. I asked a guy when I was brand new married guy, what can I do to be a good husband? And he said, listen with your eyes. Because too often, if we're talking to somebody or talking to a customer and we're not really engaged with them in our eyes, and again, virtual selling can be difficult, always try to get them to share their screen so that you can see them. A FaceTime phone call is better than a phone call, right? A Zoom meeting is better than just a phone call. Phone calls really lots of times are traditionally how we get a lot of sales, but if you can physically see them, then you can show that you're engaged with them and that you're not off on your cell phone like, yeah, okay, sure, right, and that you're not fully engaged. So truly listen and listen with your eyes, okay? I actually started doing this sell me a pen thing. You guys may have seen this. It was done. It's been done in some movies. When I would do job interviews, I would ask people to sell me a pen or sell me something, right? And it's interesting to see what people do when they're asked to sell a pen. Lots of people will start going like this. Oh, it's this pen here is not just an ordinary pen. This pen, its ink is incredible. It's got a beautiful clicking noise. It will last you probably a year, even if you used it every single day. People just start listing off benefits, right? Of what their product is, why their product is so good. When really what they should be doing is they should be listening for what the person is asking, or what the person needs, right? You can go through your pitch, you can go through all that stuff, but if you start asking, the better approach to asking to how can you sell me a pen is the person would say, well, do you even use pens? Do you just type anymore? How often do you use pens? When do you use pens? Do you have a favorite pen? What's been your favorite pen in the past? Do you like pencil? Did you used to do pencil? When did you transition from pencil to pen? Right? How many pens a year do you go through? What would you be buying pens for? Why would you use pens? And start asking tons of questions about people's needs. They'll tell you what to say next. In my business in solar, if anyone ever says to me, oh yeah, I know we've thought about it before, we're not interested, I stop my pitch. I stop whatever I'm selling in the moment, right that second, and I don't say anything next. And then I'll say, oh wait, hold on, well, why? So you looked at it before. How come you didn't do it before, right? Um, and I'll ask because they're telling me what to ask. If somebody says, "Oh no, we've looked at this, we've looked at doing an auction before, and it doesn't make sense for us," stop whatever you're saying right there, right? Like, "Oh, really? Cool. What happened before? What did you find out? Who was it? How come you didn't move forward with it?" Right? They're going to tell you the bad and the good if you ask them the right questions and if you truly listen. Right? You can blow past that. Somebody say, "Oh yeah, we looked at it before," and you can not ask a question and just assume and just keep going on with your pitch. Well, mine is better than whoever you looked at before, and just continue on. You're missing the boat. If anybody gives you a good objection, again, to overcome, it's an incredible thing to overcome, particularly with that objection, like, "Oh, we've looked at it before." Stop what you're saying, move on, or stop what you're saying, ask questions about why they haven't done it, what's been their experience, and they're going to tell you the good and the bad. They're going to tell you, "Well, we talked to this one guy, he kind of seemed a little shady. I didn't quite understand exactly what he was doing." "Oh, well, I'm not that guy. Let me help you understand what I do." Or, "Yeah, we looked at it and I thought it was going to cost me too much money. The commissions were too high. Da 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 da." "Oh, okay. Well, let me help you understand what the business and what your other options are. Let me talk about your other options," right? Whatever it is, they will tell you what you need to sell them on if you're really truly listening. Okay. Um, so that's the question based selling. So those are my two main things. Or I guess three: objections, agree with them, and then move on to why you're good, right? Um, if you need to if they're not giving you an objection of why they don't want, "I'm not interested, not interested, not interested," then give them an objection and have them come back, right, with the objection. That's probably, you're going to get out their real objection. And then um, truly listen to your customers when you're with them, and ask good questions. If you're asking the right questions, it's going to guide them to all the right answers. Stop in the middle of your presentation. If they ever say, "We've looked at this before and it didn't make sense," stop what you're doing right then and there and ask a bunch of questions, and you'll be surprised what happens. That's all I've got. Thank you. I enjoyed preparing this for you. Hopefully this was good. We've got some time, I think, for some questions. I'll let Cora take back over the screen here.
Thank you, Ashton. I think we haven't had a ton of questions come in. Let's see, Aaron, all of our sellers need some type of solution to a problem. So yeah, that's something that auctioneers see a lot. They're problem solvers. And I assume, Ashton, that you see a lot of that in your line of work as well.
Say that again.
That you become a problem solver.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yep, totally. That's your job. Your job is to gently, kindly, nicely help them see why they have a problem and why what you offer is the solution to that problem.
And how about if your competition says something negative about you? How do you respond to that? In a sales pitch, I guess.
Yeah, in a sales pitch, I'm cautious and careful. I'm of the theology that you don't drag people through the mud, because if you're dragging somebody else through the mud, then your prospect might be like, "Well, who else are they dragging through the mud?" Right? And so so if somebody says something negative about me, I come back really strong and powerfully with, "Hey, look, I'll address that. I don't know who said that about me. The way I operate is that I'm not going to ever throw anybody under the bus or drag anybody through the mud. I don't think that's good business," right? By saying that, you're kind of saying that your competitor's bad business. If you're saying, "Yeah, I don't believe in dragging anybody through the mud. I'm not exactly sure who said that. I don't think that's good business. Let me tell you why what they said wasn't true, or let me explain whatever, and then let me tell you the other reasons why we're good." Right? I think that's more powerful than getting into a mudslinging war, like, "Oh, they suck." "Well, no, they suck," right? Kind of going back and forth. I think your more powerful position is to say, "This is who I am. This is what I do, and let me correct any errors of anything that you may have heard."
Awesome. Let's see. What about negative reviews? How much time does your company spend responding to or handling negative reviews, if you even have any?
Yeah, negative reviews are, I mean, you can't please everybody. So I actually, in my sales pitch, if you've got negative reviews, then it's smarter to beat somebody to the negative review while you're physically with them, right? Or when you're pitching them. So in my sales presentation, I mean, solar, I mean, thousands, right? We've done hundreds of thousands of installs. You're going to find bad reviews. It's a construction project. Crap happens sometimes, right? Uh, and so I'll address a bad review by saying something in the sales pitch, like, "Hey, look, we're A plus on the BBB, A on Angie's list." You're going to find a bunch of reviews out there. Um, we found you can go to Yelp. I think Yelp is actually a pretty horrible place for reviews. All I ever trust Yelp for is food, because people will tell you the good and the bad with food. Besides that, they don't really tell you anything else. And then I'll joke with them and I'll say, I looked on there. Did you know the Pacific Ocean has a 4 out of 5? Who's complaining about the ocean, right? So you kind of make light of Yelp reviews or reviews, and then tackle, what your big concerns are. For me, I'll be like, I mean, on their Sunrun, one of the people that we use, they've got like over 500,000 customers. On the BBB, they had something like 400 complaints, which 400 complaints, if you have 1,000 customers, is really, really bad. 400 complaints, if you got 500,000, is incredible. That's like 99.9% satisfaction. I could give you a big laundry list of names and numbers of people that you could call that have been completely satisfied. You guys love your TV probably, right? You guys have used your TV. Have you ever gone online and said it works? You've never done that. But I'm happy to provide you with some good customers that have had a great experience with me. If you'd like that, just know you're going to see some bad reviews out there. So that's how I handle it with a solar review. So you've got to know your industry. If there's specific things in the reviews, like, tackle those, hit them before they can hit you with that review. If you can beat them to the punch, they can't come back then and say, "Oh, well, I found this about you." Like, "Oh, I already covered it. I already talked about it." Right. So that's how I would cover those.
Fantastic. And kind of a different topic, but what are you doing to get new clients?
Great question. So my channel, we historically have been door-to-door sales guys. So in COVID, it's pretty hard to do that. Your best, and you guys already know this, your best channel to market is your current customers, your current clients. So if you haven't asked for the referral or asked for help, you're missing on a big boat. And that's actually a big part of sales, is just asking for help, asking for the the sale. So asking old clients like, "Hey, I've loved helping you. Who else are people that I could go help?" So reaching back to current clients, that's your number one best place ever. Then for your industry, so I mean, how I'm getting clients currently, I can buy leads. I'm going back to old clients. In certain parts of certain areas, we can do door-to-door sales. So we can still do that if we're masked up properly and whatever else. But I would say that the main thing would be not be afraid to ask people for the sale. You can give benefits all day long, however, whichever channel you're going, but you've got to ask for help. You've got to ask for the sale, or you're not going to get anything.
Awesome. Another question: with the scenario of "sell me this pen," many times the person completely misses asking for the order. That is, "How many pens would you like?" And they would like your thoughts on that.
Um, yeah, that's great. So that's part of the asking for the sell. Yeah. So if you're asking, "How do you use this pen? How often do you use it? How many do you need?" If you're asking all good questions along the way, you're going to get the answers that you want back. And then the final close of, "Yes, this is, how many of these would you like?" Like that's your closing question at the end of to get the sale, right? So don't forget that question. That's the most important question.
Great. So people are loving your line about the TV sales and the reviews, because I know personally we're a fickle society. We don't go online to say positive things. We go online to say negative things, right? So that's gold right there. I think that's all we have for questions right now. They do want to invite you to some auctions to show you the value of their industry. So maybe you'll
Cool.
get some invites there.
Love it.
Okay, so that concludes the Q&A portion of today's event. Thank you to all of you who submitted questions. And now it is time for you to give us feedback on today's session. So you are going to see a poll on your screen, and please answer these questions on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest score and 1 being the lowest. How would you rate today's iSeries presentation? Hopefully 5s, right, Ashton?
Hopefully.
On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being very likely and 1 being not at all, how likely are you to recommend iSeries to a friend? You're getting high marks, my friend, never fear. Number 3, I would like to learn more about NAA's virtual digital marketing summit coming up next week. Because as we all know, sales and marketing go hand in hand. All right, we're done with the poll there. Get that out of the way. So speaking of the Digital Marketing Summit, it's coming up fast next week, February 9th and 10th, and it's all virtual. We have lined up more outside speakers like Ashton. He's not at the Marketing Summit, but he's an outside speaker. Maybe we'll wrangle him in there, but more outside speakers than ever before for an NAA event. So you're guaranteed to learn something new to put in your digital marketing ideas database. There's still time to register. So after we're done here, head on over to auctioneers.org/marketing summit for more information. You will receive a link to today's webinar emailed by the end of this week. Current NAA members can log in and access iSeries archives at auctioneers.org/iSeries. And your next iSeries webinar will be Wednesday, April 7th, and will cover your best customer experience. If that intrigues you, please be sure to tell your friends. We will send specific information on that in the near future. So thank you again to Ashton for sharing your insight today. And thanks to all of you for taking part in NAA's iSeries. That concludes today's webinar. Say goodbye, Ashton.
Bye, Ashton.
Thanks again. Everybody have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.